Yo, what up, it's Mr. Woods! My wife told me to start the video like that. Dab. Is that how you do it? Is that how YouTube works? Okay, it's how it works from now on. So today, I'm gonna go a little bit off the rails and talk to you about someone who is near and dear to my heart, one of my historical crushes, Lyudmila Pavlichenko, possibly one of the deadliest women in history. She was named Lady Death. She is the deadliest female sniper in history, confirmed. There may be someone out there who is deadlier that's unconfirmed, but she is she has the most confirmed kills as a female sniper from World War II. She was 25 years old. I believe that she is a person, young ladies, to look up to, because along with being the deadliest female sniper in history, she was also a scholar, as well as, she was a marks person, in her own right. She was 25 years old when she was doing all this. She studied at Kiev University, and that's one of the things that kicks all this off. Let me go through my notes here. My notes actually come from a great website, a great book series, that not just for the ladies, but everybody should look into this website. It's rejectedprincesses.com. It's by a guy named Jason Porath. He used to work for Disney. Now he's striking out on his own and doing a great job. And he just does great work, great illustrations, and great stories about women in history who have been not necessarily overlooked, but not really given their due, I would say. They've done stuff that, like, I don't know, Disney, not necessarily, wouldn't make a good Disney movie necessarily about a woman who killed, let's see, what's the number? How many did she get eventually? 309 people she got eventually in World War II. So let's go through it. So what got her into World War II was she was studying at Kiev University, and the Nazis obliterated it and wiped it off the face of the map, and she decided that, that was the catalyst. If she couldn't study, she couldn't go be a scholar, then, that put her right into the recruiter's office. And the recruiter, of course, it being Soviet Russia, was like, no, you can't be a sniper. What makes you think you could be a sniper, young lady? Well, she had a box with her. And in this box that she just dumped out onto the recruiting officer's desk, it was full of medals from her shooting competitions. And not only were they medals from her shooting competitions, they were gold medals from shooting competitions. That, that's hard to argue with. That, maybe we should make this young lady a sniper. So yeah, okay, alright. And it was virtually every high-level civilian sharpshooter award in the USSR. So, yeah, alright, you get to be a sharpshooter in the military. They rushed her into training, and the biggest thing that she had a problem with was, which is a thing that lots of people when they join the military, is getting over shooting another human being. And once she finally got into combat, early on, she had her spotter, which, when you go into combat as a sniper, you have a spotter with you that helps you. because you have to deal with so many different variables, including things like wind and droppage of the bullet and gravity. When you're shooting that far, there's so many different physical things involved with shooting a bullet that distance with that amount of precision. You've got a buddy with you that helps you do all the math. There's math involved that, involved with shooting that distance, and her spotter, her buddy, ended up getting, taken out, and that was the catalyst that she needed to propel her into greatness, if you will. And she just, that's when she began swimming like a fish in water, and she became just excellent at sniping. She started setting traps. She started, becoming clever. She started, it says right here, Jason Porath's words are, she became a ghost who killed. There was one instance where she, one of the few times she was spotted was when she climbed a tree to scout an area. So what she did was, she fell out of this tree. She was trying to scout out an area, and she fell out of the tree, and she just laid there. She just pretended she was dead, and her discipline, she just acted like she was a dead body for hours and hours and hours and hours until it was nightfall. Imagine having that amount of discipline just to lay there, not flinch. You get an itch, you need to scratch, a bug crawls over you. Some of you guys can't see a bug in the corner without reacting. That's, man. And when she had to be a leader, she was a leader. She had to take charge multiple times. When the people above her got taken out, when her commanders were eliminated, she took charge. Jason Porath, in his comic here, I can't use this quote in my video because I'm, giving it to 7th graders. But he uses some pretty good quotes in here, where she takes charge and she rallies the troops. There goes Jack. So There's some pretty interesting sniper duels that if you get on rejectedprincesses.com and look her up, you'll get to read about. But one of the things that I want to go down and really highlight here is once she not gets out of the military, but once she stops her active military career, she eventually gets injured, she eventually gets wounded, and she stops her active duty career, and she eventually gets into, I suppose, let's call it like the USSR version of like the USO. Like she gets sent to America, and she meets none other than Eleanor Roosevelt, and like they become like the best of friends. And I think that is one of the most interesting things, that when she comes over here, one of the most deadly women in the world becomes best friends with Eleanor Roosevelt, Franklin Delano Roosevelt's wife, who, the first lady during World War II, I don't know why I said World War I. We've talked about World War I a whole lot. But in the Great Depression, who, if you guys look up Eleanor Roosevelt, she was probably one of our... She sets the example, really, of what a first lady is. And she sets the bar of what a first lady during wartime, during a crisis, during Great Depressions, during economic hardship, because she didn't just sit around and do nothing. She led programs. She drove a lot of really, oh man, it's not that I can't think of examples, it's just that I'm overwhelmed by the number of things that Eleanor Roosevelt did during the Depression, during World War II. It's just so much that I can't get it out. Look her up. She did so much. I'll do a separate video on Eleanor Roosevelt. But these two women came together and were friends is so amazing. So much so that, like, when Eleanor Roosevelt later on went and visited the USSR, she sought out Lyudmila. And to the point, like, it was kind of a state visit, and, like, in the USSR, you know, they kind of kept a lid on things, and they wouldn't let them really, you know, enjoy their visit. You had to be very, you know, official and formal because it is USSR, and yes, we enjoy ourselves here in Soviet Russia. And eventually, you know, Lyudmila, you know, kind of like grabbed Eleanor by the hand and like took her out of the room and like locked her in a room together, and they finally like got to like actually be friends. And like that's it's just, I don't know, you know, Mr. Woods gets emotional, and like that's just, it's heartwarming to me. This friendship that a deadly Russian sniper who killed 309 people, confirmed, she probably got a whole lot more than that, honestly, had with one of the most wonderful women who has ever graced the White House, and that Lyudmila Pavlichenko, one of the most deadly women in the world, known as Lady Death. And if you go look up rejectedprincesses.com and read the comic, she was known, the Germans called her a lot of other really bad stuff, but the fact that she could go on to have, you know, a relatively happy life after World War II in the USSR, that's, you know, that's pretty heartwarming to me. So that's Lyudmila Pavlichenko. She's one of, I think, the heroes of World War II. Fought for the Soviets, fought for the Allies during World War II. You know, all around, I think, good person. You know, wanted to be a scholar until the Germans bombed her university. I don't know how to end videos. So I watched some YouTube stuff. So, click like, subscribe, and all of that. Send it to your mama.